Hi.
How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So, before we begin, as you know, I'm a counselor in training. Would it be okay with you if I taped our conversation today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. So, I wanted to talk to you about your student Elena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell me a little bit about Elena?
Yeah, she's a really good student. She does really well with routines. She comes in and she does what she needs to. She gets her stuff out like she's supposed to at the beginning of the day and looks at the board, and there's usually a little thing for them to work on in the meantime. And she comes in and she's one of the first usually to get started. And she's usually very diligent and gets that done. If she has any questions, she comes up to me right away, asks what she needs, and yeah, she's very active in class. She enjoys conversations and all the different projects that we do and things like that. She's she's really good about it.
Good.
About it all.
Good. So, sounds like she's the best student you've ever had.
One of them. There's always like one or two each year.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
You said that she's active. Can you expand on that a little more?
Like an active learner. She comes in and she's engaged in conversations. If there's ever time that I need to be talking about something or teaching something, she's engaged that way. When little assignments are handed out in class to practice, she works really hard on that. And if we're in group, she's willing to help out with other students that might not be doing as well as she is. So, she's helpful in that way too.
Okay. Sounds like she's a good role model for you to have in your class.
Yeah.
For the other kids.
Happens a lot where I say, who's doing what they're supposed to, and I look around, I find Elena, she's already there, and say, thank you, Elena, for doing what you need.
Oh, wow.
And, so I'm able to use her pretty often in that sense.
Good. How does she respond to that when you kind of call her out, but in a positive manner?
She smiles and gets back to work.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like fist pump in the air or anything?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Good. So you mentioned that she kind of thrives on routine.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about a time that the routine was disrupted?
Yeah, when I go out to a convention or something like that where I need to be out of class for some time, we always have a sub there, and she usually either sticks to the routine or helps the sub out with the routine as to what to do, because there's lots of kids that try to get away with things when I'm out of the classroom, and she's one that kind of helps out and lets them know, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what comes next.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that her parents do not live together. They are not together. And she's with her mom during the week, and she goes with her dad on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell when she comes back that she's been with her dad?
Not really. I don't think. I feel like Mondays in general in the classroom are always a little bit more hectic. So, in general, I feel like Mondays are a little bit crazy, but I can't really see a difference in how she is behaving in the classroom.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So it sounds like it's a pretty stable shift.
Yeah, I think so.
From moms to dads, so that's good.
Maybe once in a while, if we had a little thing for them to take home, she'll forget it at one. If, let's say I give it to her on Friday, it goes over to Dad's house, and on Monday, we're at Mom's house, she'll forget something like that. But little things like that. But it's not. Now that I know that, I mean, that's usually when the mistake, if there is a mistake with her, that's when it happens. It's like that first day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever considered sending, when you have things that need to go home and return, you send 2 copies? So one for mom and one for dad?
I haven't, just because I didn't know that was that wasn't an issue, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay, so that might be something to consider doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know there have been some other teachers in the building who have done that.
Yeah.
Situations where the parents aren't together. What kind of interactions have you had with her mom?
Not many. I mean, a lot of. Usually with my. Well. Actually. I mean, she comes in on occasion just to see how things are going and checks up if there's anything that she needs to help out with her in outside of class. You know, what she can do to help her out. And I usually tell her the same thing I told you, that she's just really on top of things. And
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Good. What about her dad?
I don't really talk with him much.
Okay. Have you ever met him?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Mom seems to take care of the school stuff.
Mm-hmm. So like first day of school, mom brought her.
Mm-hmm. Parent-teacher conference, Mom was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things like that.
All right. And did Mom at conferences, did she say anything about Dad?
No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is Elena's best subject?
She likes math a lot, just because it's, in first grade it's super active and there's lots of games and playing with tactile things. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she really likes math.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And she excels in it as well?
Yeah, and she does very well at it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do choice time in your classroom?
Once in a while. Yeah, I try really hard to just have it be where there's fun stuff throughout the entire day. And, a little bit of choice time, especially if it's earned. Kind of a reward-based sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What does her social, who does she spend time with?
We're a bunch of kids that hang out. They all hang out on the playground together. And she definitely has a good social group that she's with.
Okay. So is that boys, girls, a mix?
Mix.
A mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you say she has a best friend in your class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tries to work with Betty as much as possible.
Okay. What kind of student is Betty?
She's a good student too.
Okay.
Works hard.
So she's kind of grouped up with a student who is at her same caliber.
Yeah, like-minded.
Okay. Good. And are they seated right next to each other?
No. That's just not... I didn't do that on purpose or anything. It's just they're not seated, They're seated in different spots.
Okay. Good. So they're not tempted to
They're not tempted to talk, right?
chat with each other. Good.
Mhm.
That was smart on your part.
Yeah. Or lucky, in this case. 'Cause I didn't know they were friends at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. Is there an area you would want to see Elena improve on in your class?
I think, when we're reading things, she does really well with, remembering what she learned, or
Okay.
remembering what she read, but, sometimes we ask, next step sort of questions, and she has a hard time, as most students do, but kind of thinking about how do I take what I've just read and apply it to something.
Okay.
So kind of
She's good with comprehension.
good with comprehension.
Would that be called inference that she struggles with? Or do I have that term wrong?
I mean, depending on what you're looking at, that's the right term.
Okay.
So being able to infer information, sure. I mean, but I guess critical thinking would be the proper term, right? So we're taking information and we're inferring it, and then we're seeing how can we apply that to something else.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so, in comparison with her classmates, where does she fall?
She's probably in the middle when it comes to critical thinking, which is fine.
Okay. So, about average. Some are ahead of her, but some are behind. Okay. So, what can I do to help support you in bringing that up?
I wonder if there's ways for us to look at like other things that happen in her life and use kind of the same idea to get her to think about, well, if you did this, what happens next? You know, it's like little things in like the real world where like maybe bring up conversations with friends and, well, what if that conversation went this way? What would have happened then? You know, maybe I don't think she's having any conflicts with students, but you know, maybe looking at maybe looking at other students that are possibly having a conflict and looking at how the conversation went and what if a different way and how does that, like that sort of route, if that makes sense.
Okay, sure.
Just looking at different options, even though the reality of what happened is one way, but like what if this happened?
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever done any role playing in your class about this, like during a lesson?
Yeah, you know, I ask questions to try and lead this way, and she usually becomes quiet during that time. That's kind of how I've noticed.
Okay. So, I mean, earlier you had said that she's usually very active and engaged, but when it comes to this, she's quiet. So
she just backs away and lets other students lead for that moment, and then.
What's that about?
Again, I just think she's not comfortable with it. So it's an easy way to get out of it in a classroom of 30 kids, where all of a sudden the kid becomes really quiet and. You notice, which is good. I mean, it gives other kids time to thrive, but at the same time, where I know this is where she needs to work. So
yeah, 30 kids. Wow.
In California, you know.
How do you manage that?
Lots of routines. That's the ticket.
Good. Good.
Students know exactly what they're supposed to do when they walk in. What's expected of them from the moment they're in the classroom to the moment that they leave. That's the plan.
So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel today?
About what?
About like your classroom and how you're doing.
Probably a 7. I mean, I feel like I'm really good at setting up the routines. I understand positive-based behavior. I've kind of hinted at that, where I verbalize when students are doing what they're supposed to, as opposed to calling out Jimmy in the corner who's rolling around. And you got to instead of pointing out Jimmy, you're not supposed to be rolling around in the corner. You point out all the kids that are doing what they are supposed to.
Like Elena.
And then eventually little Jimmy realizes, I'm not going to get recognized for rolling in the corner. Should probably be in my seat.
Good. So it sounds like you have a good handle on it. And I just wanted to check with you because I know teachers have so much on their plate, and I know it's a field where you can easily feel some burnout if you're not.
Like the burning in my legs right now for my workout,
Yeah, just like that. So I want to make sure that you're taking time to take care of yourself. Good.
That's definitely something I need to work on more. Okay. I've noticed I'm very eager and willing to continue to work on my classroom and whatever needs to get done, but I just need to, there's a point where I need to disengage and find things for myself. Like, again, like working out or I've started to look at different items, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's a work in progress there.
Okay.
Making sure that I'm keeping myself in check.
Yeah, it's
that way.
very important.
Mhm.
So what has worked for you in the past?
Not a lot yet. I definitely
Okay.
seem to really dive into what I'm doing and after school things and
Okay.
different committees that I'm on, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, lots of stuff that I do, which is great. And it keeps me very involved in the classroom, in the community,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it leaves the more I do for the school, the less I get to do for myself.
Right. So it sounds like you're in the very beginning stages of kind of developing that self-care.
Yep.
You mentioned you want to start working out.
Mm-hmm.
What other methods of self-care have you thought of?
I wanted to learn just something new.
Okay.
I want to get back into playing my horn a bit more, and I just recently sent it out to get some work done to it,
Okay.
so that way it can, I bought the horn with the specific purpose to send it out at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and I finally got to, which is nice.
Good.
So that'll come back, and I can start practicing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a community orchestra.
Good.
So play there. I play in a couple bands around town.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Wow.
hmm
Busy.
Busy.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have a really good idea on how to do that self-care. And I'll be checking in with you periodically to make sure that you're on that track still.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else regarding Elena that you think we need to discuss today?
No, I don't think so. I think it'd be fun. I really think that'd be nice for her to start to kind of see what we're learning now, like where it goes next.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I am always open to coming into your classroom and doing like a classroom lesson where we do kind of like a role play,
Mhm.
if that's something you'd be interested in.
Sure. I think all the students would benefit from that, not
Mhm.
just Elena, but that'd
Sure.
be great.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I know you're very busy and I don't want to keep you, but is there anything else?
It's okay. You caught me on the off season. It's fine.
Good. Is there anything else we need to talk about today?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, good. So let's schedule when I can come into your classroom to do that lesson,
Sounds great.
and then I'll just check in with you periodically to see how things are going.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Mhm.